nervous system. Central nervous system means that is the brain as well as the spinal cord. Okay, so it is a very interesting topic and very important also for you all. The blood supply of central nervous system. Now, before going in detail the individual branches, we will start from where? Just start from the heart. Okay, from where the arteries are coming. These arteries are coming from what is the arch of aorta? It is the output of the left ventricle, isn't it? This is the left ventricle and this is the outflow tract which is known as the arch of aorta. Okay. So what are the branches of the arch of aorta? Anyone? What are the branches? Anyone? Very good. That is the brachiocephalic, then the left common carotid and then the left subclavian. What is that? Brachiocephalic. This is the, what you said? Left common carotid and this is the left subclavian artery. Okay. All of you know that brain, it is a highly metabolic active organ, isn't it? So in spite of 2% of body weight of the brain, it needs 20% of oxygen. So how this demand is fulfilled? It is fulfilling by giving the 15% of the cardiac output. Okay, 15% of the cardiac output, it is utilized by the brain itself. So it is very prone, the brain is very prone to hypoxia, anoxia. Even if the blood flow, if it seizes only for 10 seconds, it leads to unconsciousness. Okay, so think how brain, it is very important, the blood supply of that becomes very important in this sense. Now, what are the major arteries which would be the branches of the, yes, of course, the arch of aorta? How? This was the only 3 branches here from, this is the right side, this is the right side, this is the left side, okay? So, here it is the left ventricle and this is the arch of aorta. On the right side, it is the giving a major branch which is known as the brachiocephalic, okay? Then comes the left common carotid, then comes the left subclavian artery. Now, on the left side there is left subclavian, again then left common carotid, then there should be the presence of right common carotid as well as the right subclavian artery also, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, very good. Then where these arteries are? Right common carotid as well as the right subclavian. This brachiocephalic, what does this nomenclature means? Brachiocephalic means, brachium means limb and cephalic means for the head and neck region. So this brachiocephalic, in this branch there is hidden what? The right subclavian and the right common carotid artery, isn't it? This is the right subclavian artery and this is the right common carotid artery. Now all the sets are clear. Right subclavian artery, okay, then left subclavian artery. This is the right common carotid artery and here it is the left common carotid artery. So these are the major vessels output from the arch of aorta. Among these sets, which set is responsible to supply the brain as well as the spinal cord? That means whole of the central nervous system, isn't it? So you should know that there are 2 systems. One system, one arterial system, it is anteriorly placed and another system, it is posteriorly placed. The anteriorly placed system, it is known as what? The anteriorly placed system, it is known as the carotid system. What it is known as? Carotid system. Okay. And the posteriorly system of the arteries, that is known as the what? Only vertebral or the vertebrobasilar system. Yes, very good. That is the vertebrobasilar system. Isn't it? Vertebrobasilar system, and this is the anterior part and this is the posterior. So both these systems, carotid system and the vertebrobasilar system. Carotid word it is coming from which artery? Look here. Just now we have known this is the right common carotid artery and here it is the left common carotid artery. Okay. I said common carotid. That means it has to be divided into the external carotid artery and the internal carotid artery. Okay. So it is divided into the external as well as the internal carotid artery. So a pair of artery which is one of the terminal branches of the common carotid artery, a pair of artery, this one which is arising from the common carotid artery, one pair internal carotid artery, both the sides. This is taking the charge to supply the major part of the brain and through which foramen it enters inside the cranial cavity. Ultimately, it has to go inside the cranial cavity to supply the brain, this carotid system. So, the carotid word is fulfilling from which branch? The internal carotid artery, which is supposed to be the one of the terminal branches of the common carotid. Okay? This internal carotid artery, it enters the cranial cavity via which route? To supply the brain. Which? Yes, very good. That is the carotid canal. You must know there is an oblique canal here which has got two openings, carotid canal. Okay. The carotid canal has got two openings, one on the external aspect and another on the internal aspect. Okay. So, when you will see normal basilis, this is the inferior surface of what? The skull. So, on the inferior surface of the petrous part of this bone, there is a rounded shaped opening which is known as the external opening of the carotid canal. What is this? This is, I have dropped the wire inside through the carotid canal here, external opening of the carotid canal. Okay, this wire has entered. That means this is the symbolic of what? Internal carotid artery. That means internal carotid artery, a pair of artery. It is entering inside the cranial cavity via this carotid, external opening of the carotid canal. Once it enters the cranial cavity, it will traverse which structure here? What structure was lying here? Anyone? Yes, cavernous sinus. I have already described in the previous lecture. There is the close relation of the internal structures. That is one of the most important structure is the internal carotid artery inside the cavernous sinus, isn't it? So after traversing through the roof of the cavernous sinus, this internal carotid artery will come where? This was the anterior clinoid process. Here it is the anterior clinoid process. Look here. Just medial to this anterior clinoid process, the internal carotid artery bends backwards like a siphon here. Okay? Look here. Bends like this, posteriorly. And here it, after piercing the dura mater here. Why? Because these are the major vessels. What I have explained in the previous class, all the major vessels should be present in which space? That is the subarachnoid space. Okay, I was just explaining the route through which the anterior set of artery, that is one pair of internal carotid artery, it is how it is entering inside the cranial cavity to supply the brain. Okay, now the next one is vertebrobasilar system or the This is why the nomenclature is vertebrobasilar system. Anyone? This was carotid system because the internal carotid artery was one of the branches of the common carotid artery. But what about this vertebrobasilar system? To form the basilar artery. Very good. The vertebral artery joins to form the basilar artery. Now first of all the question arises, the vertebral artery. Again, here it is the left subclavian, here it is the right subclavian. Okay, that we have discussed here. The left subclavian and the right subclavian artery, and here it is the left subclavian artery. From the first part of the right and the left subclavian artery, vertebral artery arises. What is this? This is the vertebral artery. A very important question which is asked in Viva from you all. Vertebral artery, it is a branch of, because the blood supply of brain itself, it is very important. That's why it is very important, the vertebral artery. From where it is coming? The source is subclavian artery, both the right side as well as the left side. From which part? Left subclavian artery. It is divided into three components. That's why it has been described from the first part of the subclavian artery. This vertebral artery arises. Is that clear? Yes or no? Vertebral artery arises from which part of the subclavian artery? It is the first part, isn't it? It is the first part of the subclavian artery through which the vertebral artery arises. Then what is it? Here is the arch of aorta in the thoracic region. Here the subclavian artery going horizontally like this, and this is known as the vertebral artery, and it has to go inside the cranial cavity. Then what should be the route for entrance inside? Here it is the cervical region. Before going to the cranial cavity, my dear, there is a long channel here, vertebral column. Of which vertebra? Cervical vertebrae are there. Have you read the cervical vertebra, the characteristic features of the cervical vertebrae? Anyone? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good. Then I will show you how the... So these are some... Look here. These are the some cervical vertebrae that I have brought today to explain you how the vertebral artery in pair ascends upwards towards the cranial cavity. How many cervical vertebrae are there? There are 7 cervical vertebrae, isn't it? But upper 6 cervical vertebrae on the transverse process, a very important structure or foramen is there, which is known as what? Foramen transversaria. Why it is known as foramen transversaria? Because it is present over the transverse process of the cervical vertebrae, isn't it? So the vertebral artery chooses this route. It with the stacks of the cervical vertebrae, what it will do? It will run upward like this. Look here. It will run upwards. When the first cervical, what is the name of the first cervical vertebrae? Atlas. At the superior surface of atlas, both the vertebral artery, look here, I have a, suppose this one, this is the vertebral artery, okay, look here, this is the vertebral artery in pair which has been arising from the first part of the subclavian artery, going upwards via the foramen transversarium through the cervical region, then comes the foramen magnum. Okay, through the foramen magnum, which what is this? Foramen magnum, it is the largest foramen which is present where? At the base of the skull. The largest foramen you can see, it is the foramen magnum, that's why it is known as foramen magnum. So foramen magnum, it is the route through which the vertebral artery in pairs enters inside the cranial cavity, that is in the posterior cranial fossa. Clear hai? Yes or no? These vertebral artery it will go inside by entering through the foramen magnum here. Okay, the foramen magnum, it is the route of entrance of what? The vertebral arteries in pair. Okay, and before entering inside the cranial cavity, the vertebral artery pierces which structure here? Just traversing through the cervical vertebral canal. When it will reach the foramen magnum and the boundary of foramen magnum, I have said there is an attachment of the dura mater, so it has to pierce the structures there to go inside the cranial cavity. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good. So look here, the two pair of arteries, look here, the two pairs of, one pair of this vertebral artery will go inside the cranial cavity in the posterior cranial fossa by piercing the dura and the arachnoid mater. Okay, why? Because these vessels has to be lying which space? The subarachnoid space. Okay, so the pair of vertebral artery is here in front of you. Look here. Now this will run, this vertebral artery runs over the brainstem. What are the parts of the brainstem? The midbrain, the pons and the medulla oblongata. So I am asking only about the vertebral artery. What will be the course of the vertebral artery in relation with the brainstem inside the cranial cavity? Anyone? Just above below the foramen magnum there is the spinal cord. Okay, and above that what is there? Medulla oblongata. Below that foramen magnum it is continued as spinal cord. So it is the medulla oblongata, the part of the brainstem which meets first with this vertebral artery. Yes or no? So this vertebral artery in pairs runs anteromedially on which surface? On the ventral surface of what? Medulla oblongata. Up to the which part? This vertebral artery runs over the anterolateral surface of the medulla oblongata and unites in the midline at the lower border of pons to form a common artery that is known as the basilar artery, isn't it? That's why the second system is known as the vertebro-basilar system. That means there is a vertebral artery and well as there is a basilar artery also. Okay, which is participating in the blood supply of the central nervous system. Okay, now I will show you a diagram here. The course of the vertebral artery and what are the branches there. This is the pons, here it is the midbrain. Okay, here it is the midbrain, here it is the pons, and here it is the central sulcus. This is the central sulcus on the ventral aspect of the pons, which is known as what? Basilar sulcus. What is this sulcus known as? Basilar sulcus. Basilar sulcus. And this is the lower border of the pons. Here comes what? What is this?
Pyramid and olive.
Yes, very good. This is the pyramid and this is the olive here. Okay? This is pyramid, this is olive. This is the part of medulla oblongata. From here to here this is pons and above that this is the midbrain. That is, this is the midbrain, this is pons here and here it is the medulla oblongata. Okay. Now I was asking what is the course of the vertebral artery in relation with this medulla. What is that? After entering to the foramen magnum, piercing the dura and the arachnoid, it runs on this view. This view is ventral view or the anterior aspect of the brainstem, not the dorsal aspect. Mind it. Okay. So anterolateral aspect, the pair of vertebral artery runs up to the base of the pons, isn't it? Up to the base of the pons, this vertebral artery runs and forms a single trunk here. Both the vertebral artery, both sides of vertebral artery, which runs antero as well as medial on the anterolateral surface of this medulla oblongata, comes in the midline at which level? Lower border of the pons and unites here. This artery, both the side pair of the vertebral artery unites here at the lower border of pons and forms a single trunk. Single artery it is formed here. Look here, a single artery here it is formed. This one which is known as the basilar artery, a very important artery related with the pons. On the ventral aspect of the pons you will see a sulcus is there. That in that sulcus this artery runs above downwards. That's why it is known as the basilar artery here. Which artery is this one now? This is the basilar artery and this is the vertebral artery. Now what are the branches of the first? This is the vertebro-basilar system, isn't it? This is the vertebro-basilar system, the second set of arteries for the blood supply of the central nervous system. Now, what are the branches given by the vertebral artery here? I have just explained these vertebral arteries are coming upward inside the cranial cavity after traversing through the foramen transversarium here, isn't it? After traversing through the foramen transversarium, isn't it? But look what the unique blood supply is of the spinal cord here. Inside this vertebral column there is a spinal cord but only cervical part, okay? But the arteries of the spinal cord that is coming not from the cervical vertebra, it is coming from the cranial cavity of this part of the vertebral artery which is lying over the medulla oblongata, isn't it? That means I would like to make you understand this is the foramen magnum here and this foramen magnum it is the largest foramen as I have already discussed, and this foramen magnum it is divided into two compartments. One compartment which is anterior, it is a smaller compartment, and one compartment posterior one, it is the largest compartment. So a structure it is dividing, isn't it, into two halves, that is the anterior compartment and the posterior compartment of the foramen magnum. Then be specific, this is the posterior compartment of the foramen magnum through which the vertebral artery runs inside the cranial cavity, go upwards. Okay, that means what pair of vertebral arteries are the structures ascending upwards, and spinal arteries are the structures which are coming downwards through this compartment. That means the same compartment, that is the posterior compartment of the foramen magnum, it is responsible for the ascent of the vertebral artery and descent of what? The spinal arteries which would be arising from the vertebral artery inside the cranial cavity. Now, tell me what are the branches of these vertebral arteries? Branches of vertebral artery one by one. Branches of vertebral artery. Anyone? How many branches of the vertebral arteries are there?
5.
5 branches. Yes, very good. One by one, tell me. Anterior? Anterior inferior cerebellar artery? No. You think, you think for a short time. You just think. Vertebral artery is going from the vertebral canal of cervical vertebral column upwards, but it is saying to the spinal cord. Look, such a nice story it is. the vertebral artery, it is trying to explain the spinal cord that once I will enter inside the cranial cavity, then I will send you some branches that will supply downwards to you. Okay. So what are the first responsibility, the first branch is that the vertebral artery is giving what? For the spinal cord which will go downwards, isn't it? Passing through the foramen magnum, and what would be those branches? Anterior spinal artery, anterior spinal artery, and posterior spinal artery. Okay, that means the vertebral artery, it is taking the charge. You understand like this, it is taking the charge to supply the spinal cord below that. Foramen magnum, it is the spinal cord. How? Anterior spinal artery as well as the posterior spinal artery. Now you tell me whether this artery is paired or this artery is impaired.
Posterior.
Very good. बड़े हो आपको. The posterior spinal artery, it is the paired one. That means it is 2 in number. But anterior spinal artery, it is single. It is 1 in number. Okay. Now from where this anterior spinal artery is coming downwards? Look here. Once the vertebral artery unites here, forming the basilar artery at the lower border of what? Pons. Then from both the sides, a branch is given towards the midline, which is the anterior spinal artery, which forms a common trunk in the midline, which runs on the ventral surface in the midline of the medulla oblongata. Look here, this very structure, but that means this is also a branch, this is also a branch. That means both the branches are coming from either side of this vertebral artery, and it is united in the midline and forming a common trunk here. Okay, like this. It is forming a common trunk in the midline, and this anterior spinal artery, it is running downwards over the anterior sulcus of what? The medulla oblongata. And this will be continued below, because the name is anterior spinal artery, so it has to run where? In relation with the spinal cord. Okay, so in relation with the spinal cord in the anterior, here what is that? Anterior median fissure or the sulcus of the spinal cord. So the spinal artery, that is very specific, it is the anterior spinal artery which will run towards the whole of the length of the spinal cord in the anterior median sulcus. Isn't it? It will run towards the whole of the length of the spinal cord. That is the anterior spinal artery. Now, once the anterior spinal artery is been formed, then comes what? The posterior spinal artery. Then comes the posterior. Once you are saying anterior spinal artery, then go for posterior spinal artery, and you have said that it is in pair. This artery is in pair. That is the posterior spinal artery. From the vertebral artery, look here, again a pair of artery. From the posterior side of this vertebral artery, it is running downwards. And this is what? The posterior spinal artery. Look here. From here, again a pair of artery will arise. Again a pair of artery will arise here. And this artery, it is known as what? The posterior spinal artery. Isn't it? This artery, from this vertebral artery, again an artery is arising on both the sides, which is known as the posterior spinal artery. Isn't it? That means the posterior spinal artery, it is a paired artery. So above downwards through the foramen magnum, the spinal arteries are coming. If you are asked in Viva, You have said spinal arteries are the structures which are coming downwards through the foramen magnum. Okay. Then examiner will ask how many arteries are there, anterior and posterior. Next question. There is only one anterior spinal artery and a pair of the posterior spinal artery which runs through the posterolateral sulcus of the spinal cord. Okay. Again this posterior spinal artery, it is a paired one, but what it will do? This posterior spinal artery, both the sides, it is divided into two branches above downwards. This is the pair of posterior spinal artery. Okay, this is the posterior spinal artery. Again this artery, it is divided into two collateral branches, and these, that means on the posterior side of the spinal cord there are four arteries. Is that clear? Yes or no? On the posterior side of the spinal cord, okay, where the dorsal nerve root is attached, either side of that dorsal nerve root the posterior spinal artery runs. Okay, via these two limbs, the collateral branches of the posterior spinal artery. That means 1, 2, 3 and 4. That means the branches which will come downwards on the posterior aspect of the spinal cord, they will be 4 in number. And how they are arranged? Look here. Here it is the spinal cord, transverse section. Here it is the position of what? The anterior spinal artery. Okay. Here it is the dorsal nerve root. What is this? This is the dorsal nerve root. On the either side, here it is the ventral nerve root. Okay. This is the dorsal nerve root, either side, and this is the ventral nerve root. Okay. So, and the position, this is the transverse section of the spinal cord here. Anterior spinal artery, this is the anterior spinal artery, lies in the median sulcus. Median sulcus of this spinal cord. And what would be the position of this posterior spinal artery here? I have said right now, it is again in pair. It is not unpaired. It is a paired artery, posterior spinal artery. But again it bifurcates, splits into two branches, and those branches where it will present one either side of the dorsal nerve root, like this. What is this? This is the position